Welcome to CEO Insights. I'm Marilyn de Guzman with investingnews.com. I'm speaking with Barry Baim, Corporate Secretary and Board Director at West High Yield. Hi, Barry.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, so maybe let's start a conversation with just an overview of the company for investors that may not be familiar with the company.
Sure. So West High Yield Resources is an exploration and development company of a critical minerals resource in British Columbia. We have gone through and identified the resource through our PEA and NI 43-101. We have 10.6 million tons of magnesium contained, just under 19 million tons of silica, and some nickel and iron. So we're currently at the tail end of the permitting process. We expect to have a permit from the government in the next few weeks. And if all is in order and in place, we hope to be on the ground, actually construction and mining this year.
Right. And in your recent press release, you've announced a private placement offering and a loan amendment. Could you talk a bit more about that and how these financial strategies will support your, your projects?
Sure. Well, as you know, in a junior mining, it's not for the faint of heart, and you do have to have resilience and are resolute in moving the project forward. We've been working on the permitting process for 6 years and have been responding to all of the government and regulatory requirements. And part of what our private placement is to help us across the finish line with the various fees associated with that permit. And the upcoming, we'll expect a reclamation bond as part of this process. So we need to raise those funds in advance of actually getting into cash flow.
And in that same note, the Korean Institute of Science and Technology has developed a breakthrough technology with car-compatible magnesium-based batteries. That's interesting development. What's the impact of that breakthrough to your projects and to your company's trajectory?
Well, I mean, it's very interesting for our project specifically because it speaks to the use of magnesium now in these commercial batteries that they're looking to bring on stream. The technology is very exciting because what it does is it allows battery OEMs, so those that need them for cars, for example, you'll be able to have twice the capacity for half the weight, less volatility potentially in that battery. It'll reduce range anxiety for consumers. And as well reduce the cost because magnesium costs a lot less than other critical minerals. As a result, what you'll see then is more consumer adoption as this energy transition takes place of electric vehicles. So that's really exciting. I mean, critical minerals are so important in all aspects of our life. And there was a recent study where they said that the next 30 years of mining of critical minerals is going to exceed the last 70,000 years. And, when you take a cell phone like this, it's got a minimum of 25 to 30 critical minerals in it, up to 64 depending on the phone. That doesn't speak to computers and all of the other things that modern society need and our energy transition needs going forward.
Mm-hmm. So I know that there's, several other developments or breakthroughs technologies in regards to magnesium batteries. But what makes this Korean breakthrough more specifically significant?
I think because they're close to commercialization on it, and we're in an area right now where there's some consumer hesitation about adopting some of these transition strategies like the electric vehicles only because of cost and how long the battery may last me and range anxiety. So this specific battery will help, again, reduce the cost, reduce that range anxiety. You're going to have more capacity in your battery with less weight, and probably a safety concern is less volatility potentially, as there has been some experience with other battery formats, unfortunately, combusting.
Right. So your Record Ridge magnesium mine is expected to be shovel-ready in 2025. What are the key milestones and timelines that the investors should look out for?
Well, the most imminent milestone that we're looking forward to coming is the actual awarding of the permit. And we have gone through a very rigorous process over the last 6 years with the BC Mines Ministry in British Columbia. And we're at the point now where we have pretty much answered every single regulatory question relative to the mine. It's a very simple project. It's just blast, crush, and ship. We're taking the ore off site, and the reason we can do that without a tailings pond and without any need for any processing on site is that our ore is extremely rich. We'll use 94% of our ore, making it saleable, with the two main components being the magnesium and silica, and then nickel and iron. So we have little to no waste, making this probably one of the greenest projects you'll find because there is a limited amount of waste. So we're excited to get on the ground and get mining. That would be the first milestone. I guess the next one that they can look for thereafter, because construction may take, around 3 to 4 months to build an access road, of which we're fortunate. We don't have to spend multi-millions of dollars in infrastructure setup. We're adjacent to a public highway. We only need a couple of kilometers of mine access road and the mine setup. So relative to some mines who are in the middle of nowhere and need to build out $200 million of infrastructure to get their mine up and running, ours is at surface, open pit, very simple mining with all of the infrastructure around it. So our costs are down to probably a $25 million investment to get the mine up and running, which will make it cash flow positive right away.
Interesting. Well, we'll leave it at that. Thanks again, Barry, for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you for having us. West High Yield Resources, we're on the cusp of some great things. We trade on the TSX Venture under WHY and on the Frankfurt Exchange at W0H. So thank you so much for having me this afternoon, and we'll look forward to our next visit.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Join us again next time for another edition of CEO Insights.